Welcome to the Adam Rothstein Hockey Podcast. This is your podcast for all things hockey. On this podcast, we talk about past history to the modern day and what you can do to grow the sport. I am your host, Adam Rothstein. All right, let's get to the show. Welcome back to the Adam Rothstein Hockey Podcast. This is episode number 77, and I have to admit that I did not see the Arizona Coyotes possibly moving. I thought that was just more of a pipe dream, but apparently it's reality. The city of Tempe, the voters of Tempe didn't voted against the entertainment area, and now now the Coyotes are SOL, and we'll get into it, and I'll share the article as well. So I archived this from the Atlantic, and as well, so we've got this here. Okay, so we got this here. So voters reject plan for new Coyotes arena in Tempe. So where does the franchise go from here? Voters in Tempe rejected the entertainment district proposal Tuesday that included a new construction. So there's some quotes. Okay, so where do the Coyotes go from here? The most important part of the statements coming out of Tuesday's referendum from both the NHL, both the team and the NHL, is what was left unsaid. There have been plenty of pivot points for the Coyotes over the last 2 decades and plenty of official releases from major stakeholders. They've always contained some variation on phrase. Our focus remains on securing a future for the franchise in Arizona. Time is absent, is conspicuous, gentle. So relocation options, before I read this section here, and if you're listening on Apple or Google, you're not getting the video on Spotify or YouTube, so please head over there as well. But this right here, relocations. I've got to admit that I think Houston is going to be the best option for the Coyotes. You're not going to have... I don't think they need to necessarily leave the Western Conference. They're in Texas. They'll be fine there. Salt Lake City is too small, honestly. I genuinely believe that Salt Lake City is a little bit too small, and also Quebec, personally, you're gonna have to move someone to the west if you want the Coyotes to go to Quebec, which would be interesting, and bringing back the Nordiques would be pretty good. I think had the Nordiques stayed for the 1995-96 season, 1995-1996 season, had that happened, you certainly they get the Stanley Cup victory, and then there's probably no relocation, or at least not for another decade. So yeah. The thing about Houston is that the Arrows used to play there back in the 70s, and then they just went away. The Arrows just didn't exist anymore. Kind of like the Oakland Seals as well, but it just didn't work out, for them. And I think, Houston can get a fair shot. If it is Salt Lake City, if Salt Lake City somehow would get that deal, it would be their first NHL team, and they're doing all right with an NBA team there, but and they've certainly have the capacity to do it and put the NHL team there. But Houston is the fourth largest city, and I think that would actually be the best place for an NHL team. And but out of all things, if you put it in Houston, just name them the Arrows. Okay, let's just bring that name back and let's not complicate this because you certainly can't name them the Houston Oilers, for one thing. All right, let's read this section. Assessing relocation options. So relocation talk had already swirled, and now it's likely to kick into overdrive. Houston and Atlanta are no doubt on top of the list. And I still can't believe Atlanta would even get a third try at it, even after the Dustin Byfuglien era. Okay, so both are gigantic U.S. media markets. The former has a hockey-ready arena in the Toyota Center and in Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta, a potential buyer. Atlanta has in the works arena deal in suburban Alpharetta, spearheaded by a group that would love to give the area a third shot at the NHL. And that's still the problem of the South, too. But Atlanta just can't. I do not see Atlanta, the NHL, taking that risk again. Quebec City will pop up too, as it did during the Vegas and Seattle expansion process, but the feeling there is the city's time has passed. There's an arena, sure, but no corporate base to speak of, and a metropolitan area of about 800,000 people. And that's kind of the thing. You know, you're looking for the million mark of population, and Houston has over 2 million people in it. If you want some good media attention, you know, Houston's there. Houston is the fourth largest city, and it does not have all big four teams. You know, Boston has it, Chicago, LA, New York, obviously. Boston has it. Miami technically does, if you want to count Sunrise in there. Fine, sure. Denver has it as well. They're and right now Phoenix, which is actually the fifth largest city in the United States, and the Dallas Fort Worth area in Texas has all Big Four teams, and Detroit as well. And I'm probably missing another city, but I don't care. And DC is not a city, by the way. Just wanted to reassure you on that. And but even still, DC doesn't have the Commanders playing in the heart of the city. They play in Landover, Maryland, because it's the land over there. Haha, funny. But even still, even the big four cities don't have their teams playing in the city they're named after. Like the Braves are playing in somewhere else. The Panthers don't play in Miami anymore. They play in Sunrise. Boston, the Patriots don't actually play in Boston. They play in Foxborough, technically. So I have to take Boston back on their credit as well. But still, I think Houston's still. Bottom line, Houston's going to be the best. All right, they're going to be the best. A little bit of a brain fart there, and I'm talking a million miles a minute, so my bad. So why this isn't surprising? This section right here that I'm reading, the result here for hockey fans in the Valley is sad, but it shouldn't be surprising. The Coyotes' long-term success has to date been kneecapped by some combo of arena drama, poor ownership, and mediocre or worse on ice product. Teemu Selanne was never going to save the Coyotes had he stayed with them throughout his entire career. And when they came down from Winnipeg to the desert, it was, I'll get into the history of that in a moment. All right, so in a league starred for diversity, the Coyotes are led by Latinos. Owner Alex Morello and Gutierrez. Apparently, there must be another Alex in this. A wild amount of capital, effort, and time has been invested in making the deal, but sometimes the hole is too deep and the public speaks for itself. Okay, now a little backstory and not this section if you're watching the YouTube video or Spotify video. Teemu Selanne was not saving the original Winnipeg Jets, aka the Phoenix Coyotes, aka the Arizona Coyotes. As far as the Sunbelt teams went, the entire success, Tampa Bay winning a Stanley Cup or winning up to three now. Carolina, their success in 2006 with Eric Stahl winning, and Teemu Selanne, as I just mentioned, winning it for the Ducks in 2007. Yeah, and I guess and even a little success in DC with that Cup win, and the Panthers getting to the finals in 1996, and perhaps they even have a chance to win it too. The problem is not the Sun Belt, and I guess, and I don't even know if we'll count San Jose as part of the Sun Belt, but still, the problem's not the Sun Belt. The problem is more of the market demand. I think the Coyotes organization has certainly been important in the development of kids coming out of the state, like Austin Matthews, and without that, does he even play the sport? Does he care? Does he just go on and be a golfer? Does he play baseball or something? Would he care about hockey if the Big Four team was there? I mean, we have seen, I'll tell you this, without the Washington Capitals, there would have never been, there was a player who was not really good. He spent a couple times like on the fourth line of the Washington Capitals, and his name is blanking on me, but he went to the Landon School for Boys. He was arguably one of the best players to come out of that private school, and he made his way through the AHL, and he got onto the Capitals, and he grew up watching the Washington Capitals. There was almost a time back in 1982 where the Capitals were going to move to Cleveland, and no one would have batted an eye. The Washington Senators had already left, and they would have just been stuck with the Bullets. I think they were still called the Bullets at the time, and the Redskins. It still was the Bullets at the time. It was in the 90s yet. So now they would only have two teams, and now they're, and also that would even affect baseball too, of what would happen with the Nationals coming from Montreal, and the reason and the point of this is that if you want to inspire more kids to play the game, play hockey, you have to have more, you have to have the teams in the big markets too. And it's a shame that Phoenix is going to lose this, or the Phoenix Scottsdale area is going to lose the Coyotes. It certainly is a shame, and I can't believe that the that it's happening. I'm not upset exactly, but maybe I am a little upset because at the voters, because it's like I know your team sucks, obviously, but this is the greatest game in the world, and it certainly hurts, the game when we're content creators on this platform, or I'm a content creator on this platform. You've got Hockey Psychology. You have Eck on YouTube, and Puckface. Shout out Puckface. You have these content creators trying to grow this game, and when it goes from one of the largest markets, you have to be strategic on this too. And I'm done with this story right here, by the way. And I was going to read this, but I'm not, because it's a shame too what happened with Phoenix, and if you can see my stream right now, they have less than 2 million people, but going to Houston would not be a bad option if they have to relocate. I think you need to go to Houston to secure a good media market, for one thing, and New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. New York and Chicago were always had a team as long as the NHL existed, even though it wasn't always the Rangers or the Blackhawks, and they had different names to it, and yeah. But Houston certainly deserves a second try, even though the arrows had to go. Now I'm actually going to look for the hold on a minute. Salt Lake City is only the 119th in Utah. 200,000 people. I think Salt Lake City is way too small to do this in, and would we be comfortable? Now, here are two more options. Cleveland, which is one option, Cincinnati. We could have one more team in Ohio too, and in a good market too. We could put one more team there as well, but you'd still have issues with conference, aligning the conference and you'd have to move one team over as well. So you could move them there as well. So there's that. And so, but then again, Pittsburgh is still close there, and Cleveland, and I think that is still a bit out of there. And this is still coming from a guy that wears a Columbus Blue Jackets shirt time to time on this podcast. So there's that. Kentucky, no, and Tennessee, Memphis maybe could take it, but again, you'd still have the conferencing issues. I think Houston is going to be your best bet here, so you don't have issues with the conferencing. The Toyota Center is ready to go on this, and they can, and if they can host an AHL team, they can, with upper decks and everything, then you can certainly have it in Houston, and just call them the Arrows, and just get the trademark, and I guess you sell the sell the naming rights to the Coyotes and make a profit, I suppose. Oh man, I did not intend for that segment to go as long as it did. That part of the segment. I do want to talk briefly about the Sunbelt series. So So again, even though Phoenix could quite possibly move, and I'll stop sharing now. Give me a moment. Even though Phoenix is about to move and they have to deal with relocation issues, there's still success in the Sun Belt. Vegas is going to be facing Dallas, and Vegas right now is the most northern team in either conference finals. And you have Raleigh in the Sun Belt, and you have the Florida Panthers, who play, oddly enough, in Sunrise. So tomorrow at 7:00 on TNT, you have the I'm pretty sure it's TNT. You have the Panthers going into Raleigh, and the Stahl brothers are going to face off, and we're going to have a battle of stalls. Okay, that didn't come out right. I don't think that came out right. Stalls, bathroom. Yeah, that didn't come out right. Okay, so the Stahl brothers are going to go at it, and you have that there. Matthew Tkachuk is going to, and Sebastian Aho. I haven't seen much. I don't know how these teams are going to fare, and I don't know how much the regular season is going to affect them as well. Keep in mind, I would not be surprised if Carolina did, I would not be surprised if Carolina did win this series. I think it is, I still think it would be good. Would I root for Vegas or Carolina or Dallas, or who would I take in that scenario? If Carolina won, well, I at this point, I just want an Eastern Conference team to win. It would be more disappointing if the Panthers, it would be very disappointing if the Panthers lost this. I left a bonus segment out there. I'll have something out on Friday and Saturday for the paid subscribers. I'll leave something depending on what happens. All right, you'll get 2 articles from me. If you're a paid member, you'll get both. You'll be able to read both, and but you'll certainly get one for free coming out. It might be out already, but just stay tuned to your email. And if you would like to subscribe for me for $5 a month, or just actually become an annual member for $50 a year, get your first 2 months free. You can become a member at rothsteina.substack.com. That's ROTHSTEINA.substack.com. So the best thing, and so that's where you can get all my articles. If you want to be a free subscriber, that's fine too. You'll get the samples of the bonus episodes and the samples of the paid articles. But if you want to get those, you have to become a paid member for the year. And I highly recommend it. I've got 3 paid subscribers already, so I've made a little dough on this. So I'm happy with this. So closing thoughts. I think that Houston needs to be on the table, and it needs to be your first option. And Gary Bettman really tried to make this work. And even though there's a lot of fans that hate him and just they don't like him, and he's like, the curse of Canada or something, I think he just wanted the Arizona to succeed in hockey, and for Austin Matthews, it certainly did. But I guess good things just come to an end at some point. And it's a shame that it has to be like this. But I think good things will come for the NHL. Come to the NHL for come to the NHL. Oh my God, I can't speak today. All right, I think that good things will come to the NHL for good things will come to the NHL with the move to Houston. Oh, I really couldn't get that out there. Whew. Good things will come right there. And yeah. All right, that'll do it for this episode. Check the links below, subscribe to the YouTube channel, rate this podcast on Spotify, Apple, 5 stars if you think it's worth it. And also write me a little review. That certainly helps grow this podcast from viewers like you. So with that being said, I'm Adam Rothstein. Peace out.